Let me guess. You told yourself, okay, this is the year I finally save money. So you open a savings account. You transfer $200. You feel responsible, mature, financially reborn. Then your car needs repairs, or rent goes up, or a wedding invite shows up, or your phone decides it's time to die. And suddenly that $200 is gone. So you try again, and again. And somehow, getting to your first $5,000 feels like trying to push a car uphill, barefoot in the rain. Meanwhile, you see people online talking about investing $50,000 like it's casual pocket change. And you're sitting there thinking, how do people even get there? Look, if that's you, that's literally almost everyone at the beginning. And here's the thing. Your first $5,000 is the hardest money you will ever save. But once you cross that line, your next $50,000 won't feel anywhere near as impossible. Introduction. My name is Mark, and I spend way too much time thinking about how normal people actually build wealth in the real world. If you're someone who feels like you're working hard but still can't seem to build real savings, make sure to hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up if this helps you out. Because today, we're going to break down why your first $5,000 feels brutal, the math behind why it gets easier, the psychology that's secretly working against you, and the exact shift that turns "I can't save" into "I invest." And here's what most people don't realize. It's not about discipline. It's about physics, financial physics. Part 1. Why your first $5,000 feels so hard. Let's challenge a common assumption right away. Most people think saving money is about self-control. It's not. It's about margin. According to the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics, the average American household spends roughly 90 to 95% of their income. That means if you earn $50,000 per year, you're probably spending around $45,000 to $47,500. That leaves maybe $200 to $400 per month in potential savings. And that's before life punches you in the face. So if you're trying to save $5,000 at $300 per month, that's $5,000 divided by 300 equals about 17 months. 17 months of consistency. No emergencies, no slip-ups, no "I deserve this" purchases. Look, that's hard. Not because you're bad with money, but because when your savings rate is small, every setback resets the clock. If you save $1,000 and then have a $900 emergency, you're basically back at zero. That's emotionally devastating. And here's where psychology kicks in. Part 2. The psychology that makes it worse. Behavioral economists like Daniel Kahneman have shown that humans feel losses about twice as strongly as gains. This is called loss aversion. So when you watch your savings drop from $2,000 to $800, it hurts more than the $2,000 ever felt good. Your brain says, see, this isn't working. So you stop trying. This is why your first $5,000 feels impossible, because you don't have momentum, you don't have margin, and psychologically, every setback feels like failure. Now here's what most people don't realize. The difficulty curve of money is not linear, it's exponential. Part 3. The $5,000 threshold changes everything. Let's say you finally reach $5,000. What changes? On paper, not much, but practically, everything. First, emergencies stop resetting you to zero. If your car needs $1,200 in repairs, you go from $5,000 to $3,800. You're still in the game. That psychological safety changes your behavior. Second, you start thinking differently. Before $5,000, your brain says, don't lose money. After $5,000, your brain says, how do I grow this? And this is where it gets really interesting. Because once you start investing instead of just saving, time joins your team. Part 4. The math behind why $50,000 is easier than $5,000. Let's do some real math. Imagine you hit $5,000 and begin investing it in a broad stock market index fund, averaging 8% annually, historically close to the long-term average of the S&P 500. 8% of $5,000 is $400 per year. That's not life-changing, but now imagine you keep investing $500 per month. After 5 years at 8%, you'd have roughly $40,000 to $45,000. Now here's the key shift. Once you reach $50,000 invested, 8% returns equals $4,000 per year. That's $333 per month without you lifting a finger. At $100,000, 8% equals $8,000 per year. Now your money is working almost as hard as you are. Your first $5,000 required 100% effort from you. Your next $50,000, it's you plus compound growth. That's a different game. Part 5. Income growth changes the equation. Here's another thing nobody talks about. Your income usually grows over time. According to data from the Federal Reserve, median household income tends to rise steadily with age and experience. So when you were earning $40,000, saving $5,000 felt impossible. But 5 years later, maybe you're earning $65,000. If your lifestyle only grew a little, not proportionally, your savings rate might double. This is called lifestyle control. Not deprivation, control. And this is where most people mess up. They increase spending at the same rate as income, so their savings muscle never strengthens. Part 6. The momentum effect. Let me tell you a quick story. I once talked to someone who struggled for 3 years to save their first $10,000. 3 years. After that, they hit $50,000 in 4 more years. What changed? Not their intelligence, not some secret stock pick. Momentum. Saving is like pushing a flywheel. At first, it barely moves. Every push feels pointless. But once it starts spinning, it takes less effort to keep it going. Your first $5,000 is the hardest push. After that, momentum does part of the work. Part 7. Now, you might be thinking, okay, Mark, that sounds great, but I can barely cover rent. Fair, so let's get practical. If you want your first $5,000 to stop feeling impossible, you need 3 levers. Not motivation, levers. Lever 1. Increase the gap. Savings equals income minus expenses. Simple, brutal, true. If you earn $3,000 per month and spend $2,900, you're fighting physics. You need to either increase income by $300 to $500 or cut fixed expenses by $200 to $400. Here's what most people don't realize. Cutting one $300 fixed expense, like refinancing a car, getting a roommate, renegotiating insurance, does more than canceling 10 $10 subscriptions. Fixed costs matter more than small variable ones. Lever 2. Automate before you think. Willpower is unreliable. Automation is undefeated. Set up an automatic transfer the day after payday, even if it's $150. Because here's the thing, if you wait to see what's left, there will be nothing left. Lever 3. Redefine emergency. Not every inconvenience is an emergency. Flat tire? Yes. Concert tickets? No. New phone because yours is slightly slower? Definitely no. When you redefine emergencies strictly, your $5,000 survives long enough to grow. Part 8. The identity shift. This might be the most important part. Before $5,000, you're trying to become someone who saves. After $5,000, you start seeing yourself as someone who has savings. That identity shift changes decisions automatically. You hesitate before impulse spending. You compare investment options. You think long-term. And identity-based behavior is incredibly powerful. James Clear talks about this in Atomic Habits. Behavior sticks when it aligns with identity. You're no longer trying to save. You are a saver. Part 9. Why $50,000 won't feel impossible. Let's zoom out. If you save $500 per month, earn 8% annually,
Increase savings by 3% per year. You could realistically reach $50,000 in about 6 to 8 years. That's not overnight, but it's not fantasy either. And once you hit $50,000, you're not climbing alone anymore. Your money contributes thousands per year. Your confidence is higher. Your emergencies don't wipe you out. And opportunities, investing, business ideas, real estate, become accessible. Money creates options, and options create leverage. Final thoughts. Look, your first $5,000 feels impossible because you're building something from nothing. No cushion, no momentum, no compounding, just effort. But once that base exists, everything accelerates. This is where it gets really interesting, because wealth isn't built in dramatic leaps. It's built in boring consistency that eventually becomes unstoppable momentum. If you're under $5,000 right now, don't feel behind.
You're just at the hardest stage. Push through it. Guard it. Protect it like it's sacred, because once you cross that line, the math shifts, the psychology shifts, your identity shifts, and your next $50,000 won't feel like climbing a mountain. It'll feel like continuing a climb you've already proven you can handle. If this gave you clarity, not hype, not motivation, but clarity, hit the subscribe button, because we're not here to gamble with money. We're here to understand it. And once you understand the game, you stop feeling stuck. You start feeling in control. I'll see you in the next one.